Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to Adventures of the Broken Retired. I am Don, and myself, along with my buddy Elmer the Reckless Remote, will be your hosts today. Thank you very much for being here. First of all, I'd like to say to tell everybody, I cannot thank you enough, really, from the bottom of my heart. Cannot thank you enough for all the subscriptions and all the comments and all the views and everything that y'all do for me. It's been fantastic. Today is Friday, the 15th of August, 2025. Things have been going pretty well. I'm really happy. Thank you so much. Without y'all, there wouldn't be this. So I really do appreciate it. Something I want to talk about today. This came up yesterday. By the way, yesterday, our friend Elmer was MIA. I don't know where he got off to, but he didn't show up for work yesterday, and he's already standing pretty close to the fire. So I have a talk with that boy. Anyway, not the point. Point of it is this: maybe I've said this before, maybe I haven't. In my world, there are two generations. There's what I call the pre-keyboard generation, those of us who were not born and raised with keyboards in our hands. And there's the post-keyboard generation, which obviously is those of us who were born with keyboards in their hands. And the big deal about that is that if you had to learn the keyboard as an adult, not only the letters, not only I'm not talking about just how to type. I'm talking about as it relates to operating the computer. If you had to learn all that in adulthood, it was much more difficult than it was learning it when you started out with basically with a keyboard in your hands as a child. And a lot of us, including myself, a lot of us had the attitude, I never had a computer before. I don't know why I'd want one now. What can I say besides, my thoughts have changed a little bit since then. Anyhow, as computers came, you know what I just thought of? Amy and I are both, I hope I can say this. I'm not really sure what counts as copyright infringement, so sometimes I take a chance of dabbling into something maybe I shouldn't, but I want to say this. Amy and I are both big fans of the original Star Trek series. We both love the program. Yeah, there were some episodes that were pretty hokey, and all the World War II ones I don't particularly care for, but there's a lot of episodes of the original Star Trek series that were very, very good. And the reason I bring that up is because the television show was produced between, if I'm right here, it was only 3 seasons. It was produced between 66, 67, and 68 were the years that it was done. Now, it's an incredibly futuristic television show that so many aspects of that program have become real. I mean, if you watch those episodes, you see so many things that carry over from then to now that actually became reality. And I'm fairly convinced that a lot of them may have become reality because they were on Star Trek and somebody said, hey, that's a pretty cool idea. But the reason that I bring that up is because computers were in their infancy back then. Rumor has it, I've been told, whatever you want to call it, that your smartphone has more computing power in it than the first Apollo missions had. Anyway, the reason I bring it up is because if you watch the Star Trek series, and I've seen every episode multiple times, some of them I could almost repeat the dialogue, there's not a keyboard in the entire program. There's everything controlled by computers, but there's not a keyboard in the entire show. On the original series, there's not a keyboard. Everything's controlled by buttons because everybody was convinced that computers would be controlled by buttons. So I don't know who the guy was, that plugged a keyboard into a computer and decided controlling it that way. But evidently, the dude was a genius because as far looking as Star Trek was, there's no keyboards in the entire show. Anyhow, let me get back to it. This is obviously going to run into more than one part. Let me get back into why I was doing this here. I was making dinner yesterday, and you know, when you're making dinner, you get to a certain point where everything's in there, and you turn the heat down to simmer, and then you just put the lid on and walk away. And that's what I was doing. So I put the lid on, I walk away. Dinner was pretty good. Put the lid on, walk away, and I'm walking by Amy. She's sitting on the couch. I'm walking by Amy, and she said, I'm fixing to get on a phone call. I'm going to call Spencer. All right. Well, she tells me that because a lot of times, my office is right next to the living room. A lot of times I'll just holler, hey, Amy, if she needs to come in here to do something or see something or whatever. That's been happening a lot lately since the YouTube numbers have been moving so quickly. But anyhow, she said she was going to call Spencer, which, as I'm walking through the room, it reminded me that when I was a kid, my mom would tell me the same thing. And for the same reason, she would say, hey, I'm waiting on a phone call. Don't bother me. Amy tells me I'm going to be on the phone with Spencer. Give me some time. And the reason that those two have so much in common is because Amy's son, Spencer, who's in his mid to late 20s, is an incredible guy. There's way too much to talk about with him to even get into it, and really this story is not actually about him. It's about the phone call. Currently, Spencer is in Ireland. He's either in Ireland or in Scotland, one of the two. He got hired to act in a play. And so he's in Ireland or Scotland, one of the two. And he's been over there for a while, and he'll be over there for a while. His standard procedure residence, as far as I understand, is with somewhere in Wisconsin. I think it's Madison, Wisconsin. But yeah, he's over there. So Amy says to me as I'm walking by, hey, I'm going to call Spencer. And then she just dials her cell phone and calls him. And he's overseas. He's I don't know how many time zones away, how many miles away. It just incredible. Now, that reminds me of when my mom would say it. When my mom would say, no, I'm waiting on a phone call. You can't use the phone, I'm waiting on a phone call. She was referring, the house only had one phone, and she was referring to the operator calling her, connecting an overseas phone call so she could talk to her mother. My parents are from England. Their parents were still living in England. In order for my mother to call her mother, she would have to call the operator, and the operator would have to call my grandmother, her mother, and it would take a couple of days to coordinate and set up and connect everything together. And the operator would say, okay, I'm going to set it up. I'll call you back at 3 o'clock Thursday afternoon, and we'll get you connected. And it was an ordeal. Believe it or not, in case you're post-keyboard generation, believe it or not, used to be when you dialed, yes, dialed, not pressed, dialed, used to be when you dialed 0, you got the operator who was an actual person. Believe it or not, you could actually call and speak to a person pretty much anytime you wanted to. And you could do from a payphone too. I don't remember if you had to put money in or not. Now, you could do that from a payphone too. You could call the operator, and the operator could help you in whatever way you needed help for the most part. But my mom would set this up a couple of days in advance, and it was, from what I understand, I never paid for a phone call to England, but from what I understand, it was a fairly expensive thing to do because everything had to be connected and people had to put stuff together to make it work. So, contrast pre-keyboard generation, my mom having to take a day or two to get this phone call set up to talk to her mom. And then when that phone call was supposed to come, your best bet was to get out of the house because she didn't want to have anything, and I can't blame her for that. She wanted to talk to her mother. We're up at 10 minutes. We're going to have to break this here into 2 parts. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Or did I? Yeah, I did. All right, this is Don with Adventures of the Broken Retired. Thank you very much for all your subscriptions. I really do appreciate it. Thank you very much for all your kind words in the comments and for all of your views. And don't forget to hit the notifications bell so when a new video comes out, you're made aware of it. You don't have to go search around for it. If you want to watch it, it just pops up and lets you know it's there. All right, let's see if Elmer can get this right. Now, I'm not sure if he's a 1-clicker or a 2-clicker. Sometimes it's 1, sometimes it's 2, sometimes it's 3. So I don't know. Maybe he's just off a little bit. All right, let's try it. Take us out, Elmer. All right, take us out, Elmer.